Meet the Sackler family. Art patrons, cosmopolitans, and believe it or not, almost single-handedly responsible for the nationwide opioid crisis. The Sacklers aren't just rich, they are rich.
As of 2016, the Sackler family has a net worth totaling $14 billion. The Sackler family is behind the blockbuster painkiller drug OxyContin. The Sacklers push this highly addictive drug through their pharmaceutical company, Purdue, and rake in $3 billion in profit every year. It is well documented that OxyContin is one of the major reasons behind the devastating opioid epidemic. While the Sackler family has made billions of dollars creating, feeding, and worsening people's addictions, they go out of their way to change the narrative and instead focus attention on their philanthropic efforts in the arts, education, and sciences, like donations to fund the Arthur M. Sackler Museum at Harvard, and funding a wing in the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art. And they even had an asteroid named after them by the Leiden Observatory. Don't get me wrong, this family isn't all about charity and definitely enjoys a lavish lifestyle. Dame Teresa Sackler, a board member of Purdue, owns a $45 million Upper East Side apartment in New York. Beverly Sackler, another member of Purdue, owns a waterfront estate in Greenwich, Connecticut, worth an estimated $15 million. David Sackler, son of OxyContin creator Richard Sackler, purchased a $22.5 million Bel Air mansion in cash. As much as the Sacklers want to build their image around philanthropic efforts, the victims and their families can never forget the losses they've experienced at the hands of the Sacklers' greed.
What's particularly pernicious about the Sacklers' harm and damage that they've caused is the fact that they really lied deeply about data and mistreated the scientific process in order to hurt patients and make a lot of money for themselves, which is so antithetical to what we, particularly as students, are attempting to learn in science.
Prior to my son passing away, April 12th, 2018, I realized that there was a real big problem. He was getting Oxycontins every week. I would ask him, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, the doctor prescribed me it. It's okay." He's 27 years old, and my son's an athlete. He never got physical therapy. He walked in, and within, I guess, a couple visits, they were writing prescriptions right away without giving him any type of diagnosis.
This nation has suffered so severely due to the greed of the Sackler family. In 2007, they were fined $634 million by the federal government for lying about the risk of addiction. That was 12 years ago. Why wasn't something really put into place at that point to make sure that this scam that they're playing on our society by telling us that this drug is not risky and that there's no long-term use harm here? And now we know better.
If the Sacklers haven't done enough damage, it was revealed just this week that they own a second secret company, Rhodes Pharma. In addition to selling all these off-brand opiates, they also just patented a new drug to help wean addicts from opioids. So, the Sacklers addicted the country to opioids. Now they're gonna profit off the cure?
As a medical student attending an institution who has taken the funding of the Sackler family, it does put us in a really morally compromising situation. We see patients every day in the clinic who have been affected by this crisis, who are suffering.
The Sackler family has even gone as low as to say, yes, let's put the blame back on the addict. And then just several weeks ago, another not surprising incident where the Sackler family wants to file for bankruptcy and put it back on the taxpayers. I just find that absolutely disgusting. Just absolutely greed-driven.
It's a deeply emotional topic, and it's incredibly difficult for the fact, considering that most of these people who were killed by this drug took it as directed. They really, attempted to kind of follow the rules and really trusted the medical community, and particularly, by extension, trusted the Sacklers.
You have corrupted our understanding of science and medicine, and you've exploited our trust, the trust people hold in us as physicians and as researchers, and you've perverted it.
To think that they were using the money that they made off hundreds of thousands of people's deaths to buy giant houses in the Hamptons and California and really live a life in the lap of luxury really shows that those houses were simply built on a foundation of blood.
Meanwhile, you're just living large. We're sitting here, I couldn't even barely pay for my son's funeral. I didn't have have it. I had to GoFundMe to get a little bit of money to help my son, which I still haven't paid for. And yet you're living off of everything while we are trying to figure out how to give our children a last remembrance in a good way.
It's life over money, not money over life. And that's where society has gone wrong here.